Okay, this is going to be the first video introduction. We are going to go ahead and cover trends, market structure. Market structure is just understanding how the market moves. We're going to speak about up trends, we're going to speak about down trends, and we're going to also speak about consolidation markets as well. All right, let's get into the first example. This would be a uptrend, right? Trends usually look like that. As you see, we are continuously going up, not really breaking this structure. There are certain labels we include as well. For example, this would be what we call a higher low. Let me just make this gray. We call this a higher low, HL, or higher low. Right, this is a higher low. Let me duplicate this as well. This is also higher low. There was a feature where you could clone. Okay, there we go. It's also higher low. Now, why is this called a higher low? Right? Well, we see we're going up. We're going up, right? So what you want to see is this high is higher than this high, right? So we call it higher low. Although we came down, we went up, we came down. We went up, and we made a low in the market. So each time we come back down, we're creating a low in the market. So this is a low in the market. This is a low in the market. We come down again. This is the low in the market. Right, I'm going to circle the lows. So I'm going to do, this is a low in the market. This is a low in the market. And this is a low. So although the market is in an upward direction, we are coming down. We are creating lows. Right, we're going up, and we are creating lows. Creating lows, right? Now, what you need to know in short, for this make sense, let's make this very small. This is a low, right? This is our first low in the market. But what you will see is this low is higher than this low. Hence why we call it a higher low, right? This low is higher than this low, right? So that is why we call it a higher low. Hope that does make sense. Now let's talk about higher highs in the market, right? I want to use kind of different shape. Let's use a triangle. All right, let's use a triangle to represent our higher highs in the market. This is called a higher. Okay, sorry, this is our high, right? This is our first high in the market. All right, that's our first high in the market. Laptop is dying. Okay. And just want to go ahead and also just duplicate this as well. Not possible. Okay, just leave it. So this is our first high in the market. This is also a high in the market, but this one is a higher high, right? I can just, there we go. So this is a higher high. This is also a higher high, right? Why is this a higher high, right? Because this high here is higher than this high. This high is higher than this high. So we call it a higher high, right? That makes sense? just as a quick recap, we have our higher lows because we have a low in the market. Although we're in an uptrend, we still create lows in the market. When you are in a trending market, you're still going to create lows. Doesn't matter if you're going down or you're going up, you're still going to create lows within the market. So we created a high, but then we came down. We had a pullback. We created a low, and then we created another high. Then we created another low, but this low is higher than this low, and this low here is higher than this low. That's why we call them higher lows. Now let's speak about downtrends. This would have been a uptrend. To 22. So this is an example of uptrend. Now we're going to give an example of a downtrend. So downtrends usually look like this. Pull back. Perfect. So this is an example of a downtrend. Now, within downtrends, we have lows in the market, right? So this is a low in the market we have here. So let me just use a circle instead. This is a low within the market. This is a low within the market. This is a low within the market. So each time we're going down, created a low, then we pull back, then we created another low, then we came back, then we created another low, then we came back up, right? So these are lows within the market. So this is our first low. We'll make this smaller, 12. That's our first low in the market. And then we had what we call a lower low. Followed by another lower low. Now, why is this called a lower low? This is called a lower low because this low is lower than this low. See, this low is lower than this low, right? That's why we call them lower lows because each low in the market is getting lower, right? It's getting lower and we're just falling. Now, within the market, we also have what we call lower highs, right? So although we're in a downtrend, we still create highs in the market. So we created a low, then we pull back, created a high. So this would be our okay, go. So that, for example, this would be a high in the market. Could say. This would be a lower high for the market. Just clone that. Amazing. Now, let me make these a square box. It would be a square box. Okay, amazing. So, right, why are these called lower heights? What you will find is we came down, created a low, then we went up, created a high. Came down, created a low, but then we went up and created a high. But this high in the market, which we created, is lower than this high, right? This high is lower than this high. This high, see, we came down here, and we pushed up, created a high within the market, but this high is lower than this high. This high is lower than this high. As you see, we're making a trend downwards. So we are creating, although we are creating a bit of highs in the market, each high in the market is lower because we are falling, because this is a downtrend, right? So that is it for the uptrends and the downtrends. We also have what we call consolidation markets. We call these consolidation markets, or we call these sideways markets, which means we're neither going up in one set direction, but we're also not really going down. You see, these markets are also temporary. Actually, let's just use lines in this case. So just for a recap, this is what we call, it's a bit bigger as well, 22. No, we don't want to add stocks. It's what we call a sideways. Okay, call it sideways trend, sideways market. Or some people say it's a consolidation market. People will usually say the market is consolidating, right? So what we will find is we have buyers down here and we have sellers here, right? Let's use red to represent sellers. Let's use green to represent buyers. This market is very simple. What you will find is we will go up, we will start buying up, and then we reach a point where sellers are in control. Sellers would push us back down. We will reach a zone where buyers are in control. Buyers would push us back up. Reach the zone where sellers are back in control. Sellers will push us back down, and the cycle continues. It's kind of like a picture like tag of war. You know, tag of war. So we're just consolidating within this trend because what happened is the strength of the buyers is kind of equal. So let's say this is $5 billion, right? Let's say this is $5 billion. Sellers have $5 billion and buyers have $5 billion. So this market is an equal market. You see, this is currently an equal market. So we go sideways in short. Now, what happens if buyers got a bit more money down here? Let's say buyers got some more money around this zone. Buyers got some more money and they went up to $7 billion. Then what will happen is we will eventually break out of this trend because buyers have more strength, right? They have more money now. And we broke out of that zone and then we started to trend up just like that. Remember, sideways markets, consolidations, these markets are temporary because once buyers get more money or sellers get more money, we will eventually break out of this zone and start making an uptrend or a downtrend. Which remember, this is what a sideways market looks like. Whereas buyers and sellers have the same amount of money. So no one is in control within a sideways market. This is an uptrend for a recap of the lows, higher lows, higher lows within a market, an uptrend. We have higher highs within an uptrend and higher lows within an uptrend. In a downtrend, we have lower highs and lower lows. These are your main three types of markets. Consolidation markets are sideways markets and uptrends and downtrends. The market, the sideways market is always temporary. The market is never just sideways. If there's anything you don't understand, also just feel free to go ahead and reach out to me either on my Instagram or my TikTok. Links will be in the description as always.